Wait, what's our topic?
Well, Happy New Year, Zale. Welcome back.
Oh, have we started? Okay, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Thank you for, it's good to be back. Good to be back. Welcome, everyone. This is the Nebulum Podcast. For those who are new here, we talk about fulfillment. Our goal is to inspire people to walk a path of fulfillment and to give our experiences, learnings we've had from life, from reading, from other people. And we just chat about, different topics surrounding the idea of fulfillment. And it ranges from philosophical to practical, tactical. We hope to have guests as well at some point. But today, we're just here.
Today we're here. We're talking about the new year and just sharing ideas, discussions around it, because it can be a ripe time to make changes with your life, start new things, get a fresh start, a fresh perspective. At least it definitely feels that way for me. Today, we can probably dive into what it means for each of us and, the power of collective ritual as a society. Who knows whether we chose to be born in this time, this society or not, but we're here. And this is something that's kind of already was happening before we were born, that people celebrate the new year and people make resolutions. We've talked about discipline and starting new systems before on this show. And so, let's share a bit about what it means to each of us. We can also go into the whole resolution thing, and it might be helpful for people to talk about strategies and stuff for doing that and not just, doing it for 2 weeks and being done. Let's start off. What is the new year? What does it mean to you? And does it have any significance for you? Do you feel like?
Yeah, somewhat. I'm not the type of person that really adheres to tradition. So I think I'm more inclined to feel like it's just another day or something like that.
Sure.
But not entirely, because it is significant to everyone else. And of course, I feel that. And so I can't help but around the time of the new year, reflect on my goals, reflect on my dreams, reflect on what, the start of a new cycle means for me and how I'm going to change certain habits and things like that. I think it's significant because cycles are significant in general. Even before we had the Gregorian calendar or whatever calendar we're using, it's Gregorian, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. We operated in this world by noticing the patterns of cycles, the rising and falling of the sun, the seasons passing. This is how we understood how to migrate. This shapes migration patterns. This shapes agriculture. This shapes pretty much, we're not separate from the environment. An environment has cycles, right? So one revolution around the sun, that means something. There is a new cycle that's beginning, literally. And so that brings a certain significance to it because there is a sort of beginning again, right? Even if it means, okay, I do this in this season, and then now I'm back to the first thing again. I think if you think about habit and the year as a habit, we often, I bet this is would be interesting to reflect on. What is your year-long habit in terms of what cycles do you repeat every year?
Yeah.
season, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just came to my mind. That would be interesting to reflect on. But yeah, it is significant in this way. New Year resolutions, I think I do, as I said, I do always reflect on my dreams at this time, but I don't think of them as New Year resolutions because I set, this isn't the only time I reflect on. I also tend to do it on my birthday. I also tend to do it whenever. Like I just feel lost and I feel like I need to get back into it. I try not to tie beginnings to particular dates because then it makes me wait for that date. And I don't like feeling like, oh, didn't do it this year, I guess it's next year again. Or didn't do it this Monday, I guess we'll have to start on Monday again. Or, oh, okay, well, it's 3:59. I have to wait till 4. I mean, well, that's 1 minute, but that's not bad. But it's 3:32. I have to wait till 4 because so
Sure.
I don't like tying beginnings to particular, even though time is symbolic and can have meaning. I don't like tying beginnings to particular times because then it's like, why not just start now? So
Sure.
yeah, these are my thoughts around it.
Amazing. Yeah, you mentioned a couple of things that, well, I wanted to tie it back to what I also think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you want to have a certain independence, like not depending on an external thing, right? Because we have so much power in like our inner experience and our ability to act independently of different factors and not feeling like we want to limit ourselves with those. At the same time, you talked about revolutions around the sun. I like to think about it as that because it gives it more an embodied feeling, not just like, oh, an arbitrary day.
Yeah.
And you also talked about seasons. And traditionally, I feel like winter has been thought of as kind of like a symbolic death almost, like things kind of, the leaves fall off, maybe some plants die. In certain places, it's different. Like in Jamaica, there's not as much snow falling.
Not as much.
Yeah. But yeah, symbolically, it can kind of symbolize like a death. And so in that way, New Year can actually be kind of like slowly going back into like the birth of spring.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like, you know, our culture isn't isolated from all cultures before it.
Yeah.
So our New Year is still, I'm sure, has roots in like previous traditions. So even though we want to have our inner experience be guided only by us, you know, independent of certain things, we still have this outward tradition, ritual, and culture around us. Even in the work environment, people are kind of slowing down, spending more time with their families around this time of year. So as much as we like to think we're super independent, we can't deny that there are these cultural factors. We live in a culture, and people affect me a lot. I like to think of myself as, you know, somewhat independent, but at the end of the day, people affect me a lot. What I do is affected by people around me quite a bit. So I tend to also take a break, spend time with family, reflect around this time of year. It helps that my birthday is also around this time of year. So you said you reflect on your birthday. I think that's a great time. For me, they kind of aren't very different. My birthday is like a week before the new year.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Grant. Yeah, so yeah, we're affected. And I guess that brings me to thinking about the power of this ritual of starting again and how it can give a fresh start. Even if, let's say, you didn't want to wait. You started your habit before the new year. For me, I've been doing certain habits, but they didn't have, I didn't start them on a new year per se. So when I'm doing these habits, the new year kind of gives me a chance to super boost what I was already doing. Like giving them like, okay, now this is a fresh start and now I can really like get going. So in that way, it's not like you necessarily had to wait to like start these things. But if these things are really the path you want to walk, giving this fresh start and reflection can really like supercharge, I think, the things that you were already doing. For me, maybe in the winter, I actually stopped. I know we started this podcast a few months ago, and during that time, I was like talking about cycling and lifting. And funny enough, as the winter came, I stopped cycling as much because the seasons didn't allow it. But my lifting increased. And I guess, why did I mention that? I guess we cycle through different things.
Cycle.
I feel like I was going somewhere with that. But anyway, yeah, it can give us a super boost, I feel, if we leverage the cultural significance and the seasonal things and channel those into what we're already doing.
Yeah.
It can, I think personally, it can have a lot of power. It's had a lot more effect on me this year, I feel. Because in previous years, like, I guess we've gone through different phases. One of my phases was, I don't believe in any of these cultural bullshit. Christmas, bullshit. It's just an arbitrary day. I think I'm trying to lean into it more now. The fact that, okay, maybe it has different significance for different people, but I can still leverage the energies that are present around me to help me. And so this year I leaned into it a bit more and used this time to reflect. So I actually did this journaling exercise of taking a look, just reflecting, okay, what happened that was really memorable for me? What happened that I really enjoyed? Like, what did I really love? And noticing the patterns there. And then I went through, what do I want more of in this next year? And what do I want less of? And in that way, kind of use it as a compass. And years are super long, man. I mean, it's kind of hard to remember what you were even doing at the beginning of last year. But I still think that exercise has value. Sure, you can do it at any time of the year. However, I think using this cultural significance as momentum for doing it is powerful.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about using the cultural significance as momentum, because it goes back to the idea of taking advantage of your environment and flowing with your environment, right? We already have a culture that is fostering a particular type of behavior in a particular time. Why not use that? Because often these behaviors are beneficial. It's good. We do need time to reflect. We do need time to spend with family. We do need time to get out of the regular day-to-day routine, because we don't want every day to be the same necessarily. We do want to have different cycles, right? And so it's good to have some of these traditions and rituals that there's a global habit of doing this kind of thing in this particular period.
Yeah.
Why not use it? It's not necessary to be contrarian just to be contrarian.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's important to have that contrarian phase to kind of get out of the trance of society. But it's also important to not to have that be a thing you're stuck in, and still be able to go back in and see things in a new way and see how you can leverage these things. It's interesting that we talk about revolutions around the sun and how, sure, our culture loves to think of time as linear. However, there is a cyclical element to how we experience these holidays, because we experience them year after year. The season's going through cycles. We're literally going through a cycle around the sun. So having a cyclical way of being can be more actually aligned with nature's cycles. And so it's even funny, this winter time can be kind of seen as a night time of the year where we power down and we reflect. And another thing you were saying, right? We can't have every day be the same. that's not how we're designed as beings in this world. It's a cyclical world. And I guess it's important to recognize that even though we might think of time as linear, we like to, okay, 2026, 2027, blah, blah, blah. Time is more cyclical than anything else. And a lot of cultures previously had seen time as cyclical. Many still do. And for me, I think it's important to recognize the cyclical nature of existence.
Yeah. Everything is cyclical, right? Like everything is a wave, oscillates in some way. And there are cycles within cycles within cycles, right? Days within months, within years, within eras, right? And so it is important to actually raise your awareness of these cycles, because you can take advantage of them, right? You can understand how to optimize for that cycle. Take your circadian rhythm, for example, right? Within a day, we have this cycle within a day, right? Depending on your chronotype, it's going to be like shifted or whatever. But it's going to be important to understand how our energy levels wax and wane throughout the day, so that we know maybe when's the best time to exercise, maybe when's the best time to do deep work, when's the best time to go to sleep, these kinds of things, which can optimize our vitality, right? And same for the month, right? Women have a menstrual cycle. It's going to be important for them to understand how their energies wax and wane throughout the month as well. I think everyone has cycles on different scales, and through the seasons, it's also important. I mean, it's a long time, a year, as you said, so maybe a little harder to measure, because we have to measure it on longer time scales, and then it's going to require things like what you do, the year-long journal, reflecting on what you do for the year. Maybe we need to measure certain things or record certain things throughout the year, so that we have data to look back on and understand ourselves and our yearly pattern, so that we can optimize year over year, have more vitality, have more fulfillment.
Yeah. A year is a long time. We have many cycles throughout that.
Yeah.
Keeping track of that data
Yeah.
can be useful, for tracking these whole year cycles, which might not be as easy to spot if you don't keep the data.
Right.
We often don't remember like what we were doing 6 months ago even.
Yeah.
So that can be super useful. You mentioned optimizing or recognizing cycles so we can leverage them to be at our best vitality, because life is cycles. So the more we can recognize how to use that to our advantage, the better we can be, the more fulfilled we can be, the better life we can have.
Absolutely. Yeah. Years, cycles. Maybe let's get into some the topic of New Year's resolutions now.
Sure.
Because the year comes around. There is what seems to be a global tradition of setting New Year's resolutions, goals that you're going to achieve this year, things like that.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. So I also want to talk about my hair, but we can talk about that, like try to silo it in. Basically, New Year's resolutions are interesting because it's, I guess I'll talk about my opinion of it. I think my opinion of it is people try to use the new year to impose forcefully a new thing. And we've talked about discipline before. Discipline is not, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out for 2 hours every day. And I think that's what most people try to do.
Yeah.
Which is hard because you're setting the bar much too high.
Yeah.
And it's very abrupt.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good use of, first of all, if you want to make any change, it needs to be something you can stick with.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't think that's the best use of the new year. For me, it's not something to forcefully try to change. And going back to your yearly cycle, I think people who do this probably do this year after year. And for those people, it might be important to reflect on your yearly resolution and see how far you actually got. Because that's an indication of what's going to happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing where this might segue to the hair is using, God, did I forget this? Essentially, you're relying on an outcome. So most people, they do the resolution because I want to look better this year.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be better this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue with it is the outcome becomes the sole purpose. And there's no intrinsic motivation for it. So you even asked me like, what's your goal with like lifting and whatever? And I think that it's important for things to have an extrinsic value. Like you want to look better, you want to feel better, that sort of thing. However, I think it's just as important for them to have an intrinsic value.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I love doing it because I feel strong. So this workout has intrinsic value in itself. It's not just I'm doing the workout for something else. It's like I'm doing the workout because the workout itself has value to me. And I think that's what is missing in many New Year's resolutions. It's like, okay, I want this thing, but I'm making myself suffer to get it. And that requires willpower. And if you don't actually have intrinsic value in what you're doing, like you don't enjoy it, or it doesn't give you meaning, or it's not sustainable, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where the resolutions fall short. And you're not easing into it either. So I think it's too abrupt as well, the traditional one, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that the new year doesn't have value. I think that just means we need to change our strategy.
Sure. Yes. I think the strategy is what's important. I mean, this just goes back to habit setting, discipline, motivation, science. The thing with New Year's resolutions, it makes sense because there's a symbolic new beginning, the whole new year, new me feeling. This is a real feeling. The new year comes around, it's a fresh start. You feel like, okay, I'm going to be a new person. I'm motivated to be a new person. I'm setting this goal. The weird thing about it is the person that sets that goal isn't the same person that has to follow through with that goal. Right? And when you set the goal, you have all this energy and motivation.
True.
Eventually that wanes.
Yeah. Great observation.
Yeah. That, and you can no longer rely on that fresh new feeling, that fresh new motivation. You can no longer rely on that. And then that's when people start to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you say, there's a few things. There's the motivations. To really dial that in, there's going to need to be intrinsic motivations. And you really need to understand why this lifestyle is important to you. Not the outcome, not just the outcome, the lifestyle. Because focusing on outcomes is a weird thing. Focusing on outcomes isn't a good way to achieve that outcome, funnily enough. Focusing more on the lifestyle that you're going to live, the person you're going to be, the identity you're going to have, that's going to be a better way. And then the outcome will happen as a side effect. When I asked you what your goals were with lifting, you basically just wanted to lift more. You just wanted to lift. Like, you're focusing more on that consistent lifestyle, right?
Exactly.
Those secondary goals you have will come as a side effect of living that life.
Exactly.
Right? And so I think that slight shift in focus of not this end goal, I need this end goal. But okay, do you need that lifestyle? Is that lifestyle what you resonate with?
Exactly. And that lifestyle is something you can achieve every day.
Yes, exactly.
Like if I lift today, I am living that lifestyle.
Exactly.
So it's a now thing.
Exactly. And you get more regular hits of dopamine from doing the actual thing. I mean, that's what dopamine is for. That's the purpose of dopamine. It's a motivation molecule, right? When you achieve something, you get dopamine and it motivates you to do it again. But when you tie the goal, when you set the goal such that the release of dopamine happens only after you have achieved the end result, you're going to be like, it's going to take a year until you get that dopamine hit, right?
Yeah, and you can't do that because you need the dopamine to do the thing regularly.
Exactly. So when the win is doing the thing, when the win is doing a rep, that is where you're going to get more fuel consistently from. And so I think that slight shift of focus for New Year's resolutions can help. And then the classic habit setting things, right? Like make it easier for yourself. The motivation is going to wane. As we talk about cycles, motivation is a cycle. We cycle through the day, the year, the month, like motivation waxes and wanes all the time. In those dips of motivation, we need a different type of fuel to pull us through, right? So we can keep the momentum going. Eventually the momentum will just keep us going, but we need to inject some fuel in those low times of motivation. And that's going to be greasing the gears, meaning make it easier for yourself, right? The classic example, right? If you want to work out in the morning, sleep in your workout clothes, right?
I just want to say I don't do that.
I mean, you have good habits around working. Like, you like it. You don't need as much willpower to work out.
That's true.
Right. So if it's really that hard for you, like lower the barriers to entry as much as possible, and also start small, right? Start with the goal of simply building the consistency. And then once you have that foundation of consistency, you can build on top of that.
Sure.
But I think a foundation of consistency is one of the most powerful things you can build.
Yeah.
For any habit.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, the other thing might be the New Year's resolution can be a litmus test for whether you actually enjoy that thing or not. If you stop doing it after 2 weeks, sure, maybe you were setting the bar too high. Maybe you weren't giving yourself those regular wins, mental wins that you could have been. But maybe that's just a sign that the thing that you wanted to do actually isn't what you really want to do. It's what you really want to do when you have a bunch of external motivation coming in from this New Year thing. And that's not actually what you really want to do. Or that's not what the you that wants to do 2 weeks after. So, I mean, it can always be a learning. Even if you do stop doing that thing, it's not something to demotivate you. It's just new data that you didn't take in before. Right.
That point is important because many of us almost all of us have a tendency when we fall off, we think, it's the end. I've failed.
Oh, failure.
Oh my gosh, failure, right? And that just demotivates the hell out of us.
Yeah, sure. And we feel guilty, and that can be even more demotivating.
Yeah. So, again, tap into the patterns, tap into the cycles. Falling off is part of it. It happens. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And so, have your strategy for when you fall off, right? I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, there can be an element of maybe this isn't the thing you really want to do. That's going to take some real reflection.
Sure.
And maybe you can tweak how you do it to make it more enjoyable. Maybe you just need to do it with someone, for example. And that makes it way more enjoyable for you because you're a super social person.
That really can make the difference.
And that accountability too, that's the other thing. If you can set up some accountability structure, doing it with someone because that other person, you're accountable to that other person as well. Or, just having someone check in, hey, are you doing this thing? Are you doing this thing? That works for some people too. And so setting up those accountability structures, making it easier for yourself, figuring out how to make it more enjoyable, tying some reward to it, tying it to an already existing habit. These are all ways of making it easier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely tap into those cycles because falling off will happen. And so what do we do when we fall off? What do we do when we fall off?
Well, I actually wanted to bring in the point. I've been reading this book called Care of the Soul, and I think the central point, I haven't read the whole book, but the central point that I'm getting from it is instead of treating these things as failures or whatever, we actually kind of can see it as, the point that I'm getting is that we see value in all of these different experiences. So we don't say, oh, I failed, like this sucks. It's like, okay, I stopped doing this thing. What is my soul trying to tell me? Like, what information is life trying to tell me from this? Instead of seeing something as an end and a failure, we try to see value in every experience, essentially. And so instead of seeing failure, we can see data, information. What am I learning about myself through this experience? What am I learning about my culture? What am I learning? So instead of seeing things as failure or success, good or bad, black and white, we actually just see everything as, okay, what is life trying to teach me in this time? What am I trying to learn here? So I find that frame of mind can be really, it can give things a lot more meaning and stop me from feeling so bad about myself.
Yeah.
Instead, I see, okay, what am I learning here?
Yeah.
It's just a different attitude.
Yeah.
And that can make a whole lot of difference.
I'm of the belief that there is not really such a thing as failure. I mean, it's a word and it has a definition, of course. But this concept of the non-success in a thing being the end of the thing, those two things are completely mutually exclusive. The non-success of a thing and the end of a thing, nothing to do with each other. We often couple it. But the end of a thing is what I would call giving up, stopping. That's the only, let's say, true failure. But trying something and it not working out the way you expected or the way you wanted it to, that's an opportunity to learn and try again.
That's just an opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
That thing is trying to make you better.
Exactly. And I'm going to say this quote again. Every opportunity I get to say this quote, I'm going to say it. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried.
Sure.
Failure is the teacher. Failure is the path, right? Trying, learning, learning. That's the journey. It's a journey of life. That's the journey of any endeavor, any pursuit. And so having that mindset can help us not feel as guilty when something doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Because it's it not working out and figuring out what you can learn from that. There's way more growth in that transition than even the success. If you're just succeeding, you're just succeeding. I mean, yeah, you're just like, at that point, you're in a routine, like things are working. There isn't necessarily, like, I think the growth is slower. Like, there's growth, there's, percentage increase every day. But when you fail and then you learn something new, that's like an unlock, right? Because now you have experience. Take anyone with lots of experience in a certain thing. They know all the failures. They know all the ways this can go wrong because they've gone through it. And so think of it as just you going through it, you racking up this experience. It's very empowering, I think.
Yeah. When we take that word failure out of vocabulary, we just have the learning experience from it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't become such a demotivating thing because we stop seeing everything as black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And well, anyway, I wanted to talk about my hair a little bit because I feel like my hair was kind of in line with my birthday in the new year, and I wanted to like just talk about it because it's a very drastic change
Yeah.
in appearance.
Yeah.
And so even though like I said, I feel like we were talking about not relying on that outward
Sure.
thing and whatever. I think this was kind of my way of like leaning into a cycle
Yeah.
and being like, I think this is the closing of this chapter of this appearance,
Yeah.
and now it's time to start with a new appearance.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so consciously, I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm a whole different person. But I think subconsciously it's affecting me
Mm.
in a positive way.
Mm.
So yeah, I guess the reason I wanted to mention that is it's a symbolic thing for me.
Mm.
The only reason I guess I was mentioning that is because it kind of lined up with the birthday thing and New Year thing. And I think making these sorts of outward appearance changes or outward changes can really reinforce. If we want to bring in a new identity, it can really reinforce that. And in a culture that loves to focus on, okay, myself, me, my inner world, my inner blah, 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 it can actually be really powerful to have some sort of outer change.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's what I wanted to say. It can help us to reinforce whatever fresh start. It's just adding more momentum to that thing that already had momentum.
Yeah.
And it can remind us of things. And the tricky thing with this though is as much as I love it, we adapt. So I've already constantly forgetting how nice or like how different it was to have long hair.
Mm.
It's a lot more work.
Mm.
It's a lot more getting in my face and all that.
Yes.
And so if I don't remember that, I don't remember the blessing of having short hair.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I want to continue to remember what it was to like to have long hair.
Yeah.
And imagine that, and then just see all the differences. And I like the short hair better. I think my hair likes it better, to be honest. So yeah, this was kind of a 2-year cycle of growing it out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just think it's important to remember what it was like during that cycle
Mm-hmm.
to help me inform how grateful I can be in this new time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Often, like these symbolic changes or even aesthetic changes or environmental change, external changes are extremely powerful. It's actually well researched too.
Mm.
There's a book by an author, I can't remember. Maybe I'll look it up after this and put it in the description. But even Csikszentmihalyi, right? I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Regarded as one of the pioneers of research into the flow state, right? Often if you're in flow and you're doing deep work and you feel your kind of attention start to wane, changing your position or changing your environment completely can give you another boost, right? And the other research I wanted to talk about was into discipline and starting a new habit or something like that. Sometimes what people do is they make a drastic change to their environment, and then that feels like a fresh new start, which gives them energy, which gives them an initial boost to get into that new thing they want to start. Like, for example, my mom recently, like, we just moved her bed. And that gave her so much energy because she felt like her room was a completely new, fresh place.
Sure.
It's a new environment. She felt renewed in a sense, right? Cutting your hair, you feel on some level like new.
Yes.
It's a fresh start. It's a start of a different era, a different cycle. Yeah, that's a very powerful thing.
Yep.
A very powerful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel whole and complete. How about you? Anything else?
Let me see if there's anything else. No, I can't think of anything immediately. I mean, I think we covered quite a bit. New year. So how does what we talked about tie into fulfillment? Since that's what we're about.
Yeah, well, I think it ties a lot into fulfillment because I think it can help people give a lot more meaning to the new year and help them find more meaning, find more vitality by leveraging cycles, different strategies to continue doing something, start doing something, ensuring we're enjoying what we're doing so we can keep doing it. No reason to keep doing it if we don't enjoy it. But yeah, I think the value in this episode is giving perspectives on the cyclical nature of who we are. Yeah. And I think when we know that and we can leverage that properly, it's inherently fulfilling and enjoyable.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's the big takeaway, to notice those cycles, tap in and leverage the cycles. That's how we resonate, right? When we match a wave, you get resonance. And so tap into them cycles, man.
Yeah. That resonance is inherently fills us with meaning, joy, purpose.
Yeah.
All the things that make life beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's do the takeaway. Let's do the ending questions.
Yeah, my ending question would be similar to my journal prompt, which is take a moment to reflect on what are your most memorable moments in the past year and write down some of them. Write down some patterns you might notice, and then write down, okay, what do I want more of? What do I want less of? And let that be your compass for moving forward in this new cycle. Yeah.
Cool. So my prompt is, if you have any New Year's resolutions or just dreams or goals, things you want to start doing, do some deeper reflection into them and not just focus on the outcome, but focus on the cycles you want to create. So if it's working out, how will you fit into the cycle of the day? How will you fit it into the cycle of the waxing and waning of your motivation? Like, how will you navigate through those cycles? Yeah.
I don't know, this thought came to me that, like, when you asked me about the lifting thing, I'm realizing now that for me, this health, becoming healthier, maximizing this opportunity that life gives us to have a body, advancing that forward is inherently fulfilling. And so finding what is inherently fulfilling for you, that might be it, because most likely you have a body or you are a body. I don't want to dive into that whole thing now, but I think maximizing the opportunity that life gives us is an act of gratefulness to life. And that for me is inherently fulfilling. That fills me to, like, eat healthy, lift, do all these things. It's intrinsically fulfilling to just do that.
Yeah. Definitely a good prompt too, to like reflect on what's intrinsically fulfilling for you. So that's what we want, right? That's
exactly
what we want.
Yeah.
Cool,
man.
All right.
I'm glad we got another cast.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning into the cast. Back after a break. It won't be a break in the releases, but it's a break in our recording. So, yeah, good to be back. Thank you for tuning in. Certainly, if you find this valuable, drop a like other people like you might discover it. Comment. We'd love to have some discussions going in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts on certain things. And subscribe if you want to see more. We'd love to have you in our community. May you lead a fulfilling year.
If you're still here,
You're the
the
goat. All right.
yeah.
Bye.
Best wishings.